Hi guys, my name is Jeremy. We got today Benji and Rob to be a reader for the book, and we got Israel on the camera.
Okay, June or Friday. If there's one thing I've learned from my years of being a kid, it's that you have zero control over your own life. Ever since the start of school let out, I haven't had anything I needed to do or anywhere I needed to be. As long as the air conditioning was working and the TV remote had batteries in it, I was all set for a relaxing summer vacation. But then out of the blue, this happened. Pack your bags, we're going on a road trip. This isn't the first time Mom had sprung a trip on us without any warning. Last year, on the first day of summer, she said we were going upstate for a few days to visit Aunt Loretta at the nursing home. It wasn't exactly my idea of a fun way to kick off the summer. One time, when we visited Aunt Loretta, her roommate grabbed me and wouldn't let go until a staffer gave her a chocolate chip muffin. But Mom was just bluffing about going to the nursing home. At breakfast the next morning, she told us where we were really going. We're going to Disney World. Me and my brother, Roderick, were happy because we were both dreading spending the first week of summer vacation playing shuffleboard at a nursing home. But when my little brother Manny heard about the change in plans, he totally lost it. Mom had talked about Mom had talked up the Aunt Loretta trip so much that Manny was actually excited about going. We ended up postponing our trip to Disney so we could visit Aunt Loretta. You'd think Mom would have learned her lesson about surprise trips after that one. I know exactly where this road trip idea came from because the new issue of Family Frolic magazine came up in the mail today. If I had to guess, I'd say 90% of everything we do as a family comes from ideas Mom gets from in the magazine. And when I saw the latest issue, I knew it was going to get Mom's wheels turning. I flipped through Family Frolic a few times, and I have to admit, the pictures always make everything look like a lot of fun. Here are the photos. But there must be something wrong with our family because we can never measure up to the ones they show in the magazine. I guess Mom's not giving up, though. She said this road trip is going to be awesome and that spending a lot of time together in the car will be a bonding experience for the whole family. I tried to talk to her into letting us do something normal, like going to a water park for a day, but Mom didn't want to hear it. She said the whole point of this trip is to do things we've never done before, to have authentic experiences. I thought Mom would have looped Dad in about her road trip idea, but apparently I was wrong. But because when he got home from work, he seemed just as surprised as us kids. Dad told Mom about it. Dad told Mom it was a bad time to be away from work, and he didn't want to use his vacation days unless he absolutely had to. But Mom said there's nothing more important than spending time with your own family. Then Dad told Mom he's really hoping to get his boat out on the water this weekend, and if he went on a road trip, he wouldn't be able to. Mom and Dad get along pretty well in general, but the one thing that's guaranteed to cause a fight between this is Dad's boat. A few years ago, Mom sent Dad out to get some milk, but along the way he spotted a boat for sale in someone's front yard. And before you knew it, the boat was in our driveway. Mom was mad that Dad didn't check with her first because having a boat is a ton of work. But Dad said it was always his dream to own a boat and that we could spend every weekend out on the water as a family. So Dad got to keep the boat and he seemed really happy. But things went downhill fast. A few days later, some people from the homeowners association knocked on our door. They said there were rules in our neighborhood against having a boat parked in front of your house and told Dad he had to move it into the back. The boat sat in the backyard for the whole summer because Dad was too busy and didn't have time to use it. Then in the fall, one of Dad's coworkers told him he had to winterize the boat and protect it from the cold weather. Dad found out it would cost more to winterize the boat than it cost him to buy it. So he decided to take his chances. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, when the temperature dropped below freezing, a big crack appeared in the hull. When it started to snow, Dad moved the boat onto the back deck, and it sat there all winter. In the spring, Mom started using it to store all the sorts of junk from the house. The next summer, Dad decided he was going to fix the boat. But when he went to pull it out but under the deck, he discovered a family of raccoons living in our old washing machine.
Dad called in a survey to get rid of the raccoons, but when he heard how much that was going to cost, he decided to take care of himself. By then, Manny had heard about the baby raccoons living in the washing machine, and Mom had to step in. We've both been sitting there ever since. I haven't heard any scurrying sounds coming from under the deck for a while, so I'm guessing the raccoons moved out. Today, Mom told Dad he had the whole rest of the summer to get his boat out on the water, and he pretty much gave up after that. Mom said we were going to leave first thing in the morning, so we need to start packing for the trip. She told everyone to bring the bare essentials so we could fit everything in the minivan. But by the time we got all of our stuff out in the driveway, it was pretty clear we had a space problem. Mom started going through everything and sorting it into two piles, the things we needed and the things we didn't. Roger was pretty disappointed when some of his essentials didn't make the cut. Mom made me leave a bunch of small stuff behind. It seemed pretty ridiculous considering that Manny's plastic potty was coming along for the ride. Whenever we take a trip that's longer than 15 minutes, Mom brings Manny's potty just in case. But I get really comfortable whenever Manny uses it. Mom wouldn't let me and Roger take any electronics on the trip, even though they'd barely take up any space. She's always saying kids these days don't know how to socialize because they've constantly got their noses 2 inches from the screen. But I'll tell you this, when I have kids, I'm going to let them play with whatever kind of gadget they want. If you ask me, electronics are the key to family happiness. Even after Mom went through every single item in the driveway and cut out all the things we didn't need, there's still way too much to fit in the van. I suggested we rent out one of those giant recreational vehicles because we could fit all of our stuff in it and have room to spare. The way I see it, if you want the whole family to get along, everyone needs their own space. And with one of these souped up RVs, we could spend weeks on the road without even bumping into another one. But Mom said RVs are too expensive and they get terrible gas mileage, so that put an end to that idea. Roger said maybe we could get one of those trailers you tow behind the car, which sounded smart to me. But it was pretty clear Roger was imagining the trailer as some sort of mini apartment for himself, so that wasn't going to fly either. Then Dad rang in with his own idea. He said we could solve the whole space issue by just putting the stuff that didn't fit in the van into the boat, which we could tow behind us. I think Mom realized there wasn't really another option, so she caved in, but getting the boat into the driveway was easier said than done. Not only did we have to take all the junk out of the boat, but it turned out there was a tree going through the bottom. It took 3 hours to get the boat from under the deck, and let me just say Mom did not exactly go out for her way to help. After we got the boat into the driveway, Dad patched up the hole in the bottom and the crack in the hole with some duct tape. I just hope we're not going anywhere near water on this trip, though. Because as far as I know, the boat didn't come with any life preservers Saturday. Even with the added space we got from the boat, the minivan was still pretty full. I stuck my pillow on board at the last second because I decided I was entitled to at least one luxury item. I figured Roger would want to sit in the back of the van because whenever we go anywhere as a family, he likes to stretch out and take a nap. Every once in a while, we'll forget Roger was even back there. This Easter, we made it halfway through church before Mom realized Roger never made it out of the van. Back when we had a station wagon, me and Roger used to sit in the back together in a seat that faced the rear window. But we got in big trouble when we played a practical joke on Mom and Dad that ended up getting us pulled over with the police. When we got in the van today, Roger offered me the back seat. I accepted before he could change his mind, but I should have known his offer was way too good to be true. Before we pulled out of the driveway, Mom said we were taking a special guest along for the ride. For a second, I was worried we were picking up someone else, but because all of our stuff in the van, they'd have to sit on the roof. But Mom opened up her purse and pulled out a piece of paper with a drawing on it. The drawing was Flat Stanley, a character from a book I read in 2nd grade. Flat Stanley is the boy who gets squashed by a bulletin board that falls off his bedroom wall in the middle of the night. And when they pull the bulletin board off of him, he's just dead as a piece of paper. I thought it was pretty cool that Flat Stanley could fold himself up and get mail to his grandma's or have a brother flying like a kite. But I'll tell you this, if Flat Stanley had a brother like Roger, I guarantee he wouldn't survive a whole day. I really liked the book, but it kind of freaked me out too. One thing it did was give me a deathly fear of bulletin boards. In 2nd grade, everyone in my class had to color in a cutout of Flat Stanley and mail him to a friend or relative who lived far away. Then that person was to take a picture of Flat Stanley in front of something interesting and mail him back with the photo.